Yo guys, Jensker, and today I'm gonna talk about racials. Now, they did fix the BGQ, thank fucking god. But people have been crying and have been saying retarded shit, and by the way, this is gonna be, I'm gonna say a lot of bad words. So if you don't like that kind of shit, just, yeah, feel free to just close the video and get the fuck out of here. Sorry. But now on the serious note, been watching the forums, I've been watching Twitter, and people are just out of touch. I had this guy on. I'm actually Lions gonna win. I had this guy on the forums, a gnome warlock, saying that you would trade the queue for a 1 hour queue and the horde ratios. I would make that trade. Well, he said that because he had full gear, by the way. At least from the portraits that you see, it seemed like he had full gear, which obviously makes him say that. I would love to see him say that a month ago. Because, guys, I don't care how you feel about racials, gear is more important in Arena. But now let's talk about racials. What makes Horde racials better? That's my question. And I'm gonna give you a time to think about it, and I'm gonna tell you right now, on tournaments back in the day, like I said many times, and on tournaments right now you will see mostly alliance teams. Why? Well, it's simply down to comps. What are the most favorite comps on TBC, and even Rat of the Lich King, by the way, and even Kata, and even Retail, kind of. It's Roguelock Druid, RMP, WLD, maybe Shadow Play if you have a good Shadow Priest, Double Healer, Warrior, and Hunter, and maybe some Turbo Cleave or Red Warrior, Resto Shaman. Those are overall the Mage, Warrior, Druid is also very good, or Priest, it's also very good. Now, let's talk about the most favorite ones, which are Rogue comps, RMP, Roguelock Druid, and Roguelock Priest. Perception is just better in any of the cases. Like it's comps about opener, and if the comp is about opener, you want to have perception because if you're a human rogue, you will always have the advantage over undead rogue. Always a small advantage because it's only during the opener, but those comps are win mostly on the opener, even though they might not kill you on the opener. They win on the opener because forcing trinkets and all of that good shit. Now, RMP and the Roguelock Druid better on Alliance because you always have the opener. Straight up against other rogue teams. Let's check warrior comps, warrior based comps. Better on Alliance because usually the warrior is not really the target. It can die, but it's not usually the target and gets stuck on roots. So Orc loses value and Gnome gains a lot of value. That's why WLD back in the day was Alliance, pretty much. If you saw a WLD playing back in the day in tournaments, it was Alliance. And you can maybe remember this name, Papercat, if you're a boomer like I am. Papercat always played, or mostly played Gnome Warrior. Why? You can get out of roots. You can't really BCC that much if you do that. So, with a warrior, it's also better. Double healer, you want a warrior. To be known, why? Because you can only be CC'd by, for example, a mage, and if it's against an RMP, the mage CCs you, they go on the either on the priest or on the druid, depending on the type of CC they have at the moment, and they will get the warrior in roots, and the warrior can do damage, so Gnome gains value once again. Now, I don't get why people say horde ratios are better. Now, if you want to generalize things and, for example, you're an undead rogue and you just face warlocks, yeah, sure, will it's better than perception. But that's not what happens in ladder. You face all types of stuff. So I think it's completely out of touch saying that Horde has actually a race advantage. I just think it's completely out of touch. I actually saw Sidu yesterday saying that Horde has an advantage in race, and I didn't get why. I really didn't. Because it's actually the only streamer that says that. If you ask any streamer, they will say depends. Depends on the comp you face, depends on the comp you play. If you play a comp that is like RMP or RLD, maybe you want to be Alliance. Depends on the comp you face. So sometimes Will of the Forsaken will have huge value, sometimes it will have no value. Sometimes, how do you call it? Perception will have huge value, sometimes it won't have any value. It's exactly the same. The value you get, the difference in between race and why I say alliance it's actually better for PvP, it's the value you get when it actually matters. So for example, Will of the Forsaken, it's an extra trinket for a fear effect. The value ain't that big. It just allows you to, for example, zerg someone faster. But usually when you use will, you will still have to use trinket because, for example, if it's a warlock, it will just fear you into a death coils, which means you have to use trinket anyways. So yeah, perception, it's the same. It has more value because if you get, for example, a sap on the rogue, on the horde rogue, then you have the opener. And if you have the opener, you will force trinkets. And if they force your trinket with a fear, it doesn't really matter because you already got a huge advantage. So all of this shit evens out. That's all I want to say here. And the only race, and I'm gonna give you an example of why, like, trying to balance ratios will never like fix the problem, because I do think the problem comes from people who like to PvP, like I said already, who like to PvP just get attracted to hordes. During Wrath of the Lich King, they buffed humans and they gave the only racial that was completely broken in the game, which was every man for himself. This was the only time a racial was actually completely broken and you couldn't play around because it was just an extra trinket. Will of the Forsaken, you can play around by baiting the will with the fear and trying to CC in any other form, or trying to ask for a teammate to CC. For example, if you're a Discris and you play with a mage, you want to will, then you want to fear, uses will, then the mage ships him or roots him in the will, which means you just wasted the will. That's one example of how to outplay a will rogue. Um, every man for himself, it would mean just another trinket. So you would trinket and then you would trinket again. Every man for himself was legit the only racial that was completely broken. And that made players better than they were in terms of skill level. And even then, back in the day, Horde was still predominant. Why? That's what I'm asking. Because back in Wrath of the Lich King, people were sweaty as fuck already. Even back in TBC, during Sunwell times, people were mid-maxing. All you need to do is like go watch like Wowhead comments from years and years ago, and they would tell you the best optimal way to do a quest, the best optimal way to farm certain things. People were already mid-maxing the shit out of the game back in the day, and they didn't went to Alliance until pretty much MOP. Why? Because it's a pain in the ass to level. It's a pain in the ass to leave your friends. It's a pain in the ass to leave your guilds. It's a pain in the ass to make a new character that has nothing to do with your main character. It is. It's just that. It's not because of racials, because humans had the most broken racial during Wrath of the Lich King until Legion, I want to say, and people only swapped when it was so easy to level. You could level in like what 5 hours during MOP, maybe 6 hours or whatever. They didn't fucking level until then. They didn't level during Wrath of the Lich King when heirlooms were a thing or kata. They leveled in MOP pretty much, or boosted. So there you go. There's a practical example that racials are not the problem. What is the problem then? It's just Horde players liking their characters and having most friends liking Hordes. And many players only play the game because they play with their friends. And if your friends go Horde and you only play for them and they play for other reasons, for example, which happens all the time, because sometimes a friend quits and you keep playing, but then you quit and he stops playing, something like that. Um, so people just follow people and they go Hordes because most people like Hordes. That's it. That's it. And even though the disparity between Horde and Alliance, it's only like around 30. It's only around 10 to 20%, which is pretty low. In PvP, the disparity it's way bigger. That's why we are getting instant queues. Like Eye of the Storm, 1 minute. The 1 minute, I think it's the time it takes to actually for the thing to work. After 1 minute, you get an instant queue, or after 30 seconds. Like, this is what people need to understand. It's not about ratios. Okay, if you're fucking stuck on 1500 or 1600 with full gear, you are so bad at the moment because it's not ratials. It's because you're bad. Because if you're Alliance and you have full gear and you're queuing at 1600, you're fucking terrible because you're facing a lot of Horde players that don't even have gear. I was watching my rogue trees teammate and a rank 1 red paladin, which is also a very close friend of mine. We are all friends. They were queuing with 20 resilience. And they were winning against fully geared people. Do you realize how bad these people were? They were streaming on Discord. I was watching. They were at like 1500, and I was like, holy shit! Gear actually makes a difference, like a huge difference. And I can feel it for myself. But I do play a warlock with almost full gear, and even though my druid doesn't have gear, I can sometimes peel for him. Most comps, except warriors and rogues, I guess. So I don't feel as much the difference. I do feel the difference, but it's not as much. But these guys with 20 resilience were winning against warlock druids from Alliance with full fucking gear. You need to be so bad, and you go onto the forums and complain about fucking ratios. Go fuck yourself, man. Actually, go fuck yourself. If you're a Alliance player and you're losing to Horde players that don't have full gear, it's not because of fucking ratios. It's because you're fucking bad. That's it. That's it. That's it. And you might not even be that bad. You might just be worse than the players you're facing. But in order to lose with 300 resilience as a warlock druid in Alliance with full gear against a rogue rat in season 1 with 20 resilience, you need to be so bad that even if you had like every man for himself and you were a fucking gnome, you could have Will of the Forsaken, Scape Artist, and every man for himself on different fucking cooldowns, and you would still lose because you're that dog shit. That's it. You're dog shit. And you go to the forum saying, oh, give me the ratios and I will put up with the 1 hour queue. Of course you will. You have full gear by now. Go fuck yourself. But I would love to see you do that. I would actually love to go with no resilience, only 20 resilience, into arena only with a trinket as a warlock druid and just get fucking slapped but by slap I mean completely fucking destroyed by a fully geared rogue rat. I would love to see that. I would actually fucking pay to see that. I would pay for Blizzard to give that guy the experience that he says he wants. I would fucking pay. Just so I could fucking just go onto the forums and kill him on the forums. I would fucking post the clip from him just being completely slapped. And I would ask him, well, did Will of the Forsaken help against Rogue Rats? But yeah, guys, sorry for the fucking rant, but it's been way too long since we could actually queue And it's been way too long since I've heard or read something smart on the forums coming from Alliance players. Way too fucking long. There's a few Alliance players there that actually have a brain and probably are not bad at the game. And it's kind of funny that the Alliance players, Bajira made a tweet, and I'm actually gonna show you the tweet because I do want you to see the tweet because this makes no sense, and I don't even consider Bajira like an amazing player, but Bajira, how the fuck do I Bajira Bajira, okay, Twitter, because I want you to see this shit. He made a tweet that it was pretty fucking smart. Okay. Am I a traitor to the Alliance if I'm fine with cross-faction BGQs and think that it will help keep TBC PvP pumping? There you go. The arena is fucking dead because Horde players are not queuing because Horde players can't get gear. That's it. It's not hard to understand. Horde players can't get gear, so the arena ladder is dead. Why? Because most PvPers are Horde players, not because of racials. Let's keep reading because I just died and I guess this is a loss. Maybe I'm missing something important, but if this allows Horde players to log in, queue for PvP and be excited to play the game, that sounds good to me. Plus, more Horde queuing BGs means more juicy honor for me anyway, which it doesn't, it really doesn't because Alliance just gets instant queues anyways. And cross-faction BGs make sense from a lore perspective anyway. If you think about it, about what it will actually look like in practice, Horde will fight amongst themselves and occasionally against the Alliance. There you go. This is kind of shot at saying that Horde players are retarded, but kind of. But yeah, I can take this shot actually, because Horde players are retarded. Let's be honest. Um, we are just being obfuscated by all the retards on the Alliance on the forums at the moment, but we are pretty toxic towards ourselves and all of that. Let's admit to that. All you need to do is like a BG and you see the best of the hordes. The best. Oh my god, can this fucking... Okay. It's fully geared. Let's see if it matters. Okay, I juked this CS. And I die. Doesn't matter. Best example. Fucking gnome with fucking triggering happy like he's coming earlier, just pressing that CS super fast like... Doesn't matter. It has full gear, I don't. Yeah, fuck you. But yeah, guys. Sorry for the rant, sorry for screaming, but this is so fucking annoying because players are just bad and they find the worst excuses to why they are fucking bad. And like, for example, I'm playing my Shadow Priest right now. If I go into arena with full gear and I'm like a dwarf or a gnome, or well, you can't be a gnome, I'm a dwarf or a human and I lose, I have perfect notion that I'm not the best Shadow Priest. So I will look into my gameplay. And this is how you improve. I actually made like a video before TBC actually released, I think, about how to improve as a player. And that's one of the first things I say in that video. And you should check it out on my YouTube channel. Which is, whenever you lose, you should look at yourself, or whenever you win, you should look at yourself and think you're dog shit. That's how you improve. Because there's always something that you can do better. It's not about... I never talked about racials. I never said, oh, go undead in TBC because you will have Will of the Forsaken and grant you 500 rating by default. No, it doesn't. Just think of yourself as a dog shit player. Always. That's how big players like Was, Min Poike, like not really Min Poike, like Was, Chanimals, all of them, if you go watch a stream, they will always admit to their own mistakes. Was doesn't admit to many, even though he does make many mistakes. He doesn't admit to them, but in his head he's thinking, okay, I made this mistake, I made this mistake, I can do this, I can do that. They never say, I never heard a rank 1 player or a tournament player or a gladiator that I played with, oh my god, if I was orc there and I resisted the kidney shot, I would win the game. Oh my god, if I had Will of the Forsaken there, I would will and just do 10k DPS in TBC, you know? Like, fuck you, man. Just learn how to play the game before you even complain or think about ratios. But yeah, that's about it. I'm gonna about to lose another BG. And yeah, guys, just get better at the game. And I hope they do a faction change. I have to end the video on this one. I hope they do a faction change because I don't think this is a good, healthy change for the game. But at the moment, I'm so tilted with all the Alliance players crying and the way they cry and their arguments for why Horde has more players than Alliance. It's so out of touch, and you can see why there are like 1500 because, or even less at the moment, because if they say like two lines of words, they just completely annihilate like 14 years of PvP experience from most players, right? Like it's like watching I don't know a rocket science fucking guy talking about I don't know soccer when he never watched soccer or football because I'm European. Never watched football and he's talking about fucking football. Like the chances of you speaking or saying anything right whenever you don't have the experience are so slim that you should just shut up and just learn how to play the game and then talk. Because let's be honest, Alliance has the best situational ratios for sure. It's not close. And in TBC, it's all about situations and what you do in those situations and all about openers. TBC it's so much about openers that just makes I actually find it strange that Horde players are not complaining about perception. Horde rogues should be complaining about perception, but I guess they still haven't queued because they don't have gear, so they can't really complain about perception yet. That's what I get. And this guy's so bad. But he kills me because full gear. There you go. But yeah, guys, like I just want you to understand. Is this a pre-made? I feel like yeah, it is a pre-made. I just don't understand. Did you see right there where did Will help me? Even though I silenced, he blocked. I just died. So because no resi once again. Will didn't save me there. Do you know what would save me there? Maybe gnome ratio. Give me escape artist. Well, priests can't have it, but you get the point. Okay, guys, I've just ranted for way too long. I'm gonna get a coffee while being fucking railed by the alliance. And yeah, guys, just chill. Don't be weirdos. Don't be bad. Just improve at the game, and you will. And this is something I've heard someone say. Oh, it was Magnus, which plays alliance, by the way. There's only one way to attract people or PvPers to Alliance, to be so good at it that people want to play with you. Okay? So, a good way to do that is just improve so much in your gameplay. Obviously, the chances of anyone watching this, or even me, being so good at a class that everyone plays are very slim. But just try to improve yourself. And for example, if you gank someone like you do a 3 versus 1, you will be noticed. Like you will be noticed and people want to play. This is the only way that the faction balance was actually fixed. It was back in MoP when Horde players had time to level Horde characters for the every man for himself, which was still a thing in MoP. It was so broken. Like every man in for himself was so broken for so long, and still people only really leveled the characters on the alliance side at MoP. This is how attachment works. You're so attached to your character, you don't even want to level like a human whatever because of a racial that is completely broken because you're so attached to your character. That's how people work, man. Like it's not about ratios. And most players are not even that good to even worry about ratios. I don't get why Alliance players worry. But yeah, guys, that's it for me. Just have fun. If you're a Horde player, just do BGs at the moment because you're not gonna have, you might not have a chance to do it again. You never know. It's Blizzard. I hope they introduce the faction change. I think overall it's just better for the game. And I'm gonna play Alliance, leave all my guildies, which I love, and but I want to PvP. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Like the video, go check my other videos if you like this one, and just chill. If you're Alliance, because this is until Wednesday, and Horde players do deserve to get queues. Sorry, but the gap in between a fully geared Alliance player and a Horde player that only has 20 to 50 resilience, it's way too much. It's just way too much. Like I don't even get benefits from resilience at this point. As you can see, like I have 17 on the second part of this resilience, and I have 7% on the first part. That's how big the difference is. But yeah, on my warlock, I mean. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Peace.